Now it's time for us to clean up our battle system. Let's go ahead and open up the battle window. The first thing we're going to do is test to see whether the monster or the player should attack first. Let's scroll down to our Start Battle method. Right before we display the message, let's set the value of next action player to equal rand.next double greater than or equal to 0.5. Then we'll test to see if next action player equals true. If it's the player, we're going to display our message that a monster is approaching. If not, we'll create an else condition, and let's copy our display message, paste it, and instead, let's replace this to say monster name, and where we have approaches, attacks first. Now we can go and test this out. We'll save our code and go back into Unity. Now if we start a battle, we have a 50-50 shot at who begins the battle. It looks like a slime approaches, so the player gets to attack first. Let's restart the battle until we see, looks like the monster attacked first, and we now know that this works. This will help balance out the battles a little bit. If not, it's always very one-sided towards the player, always having the advantage over the monster. The next thing we want to do is message to the player when they've entered a town or they entered a castle. Let's go to our random map tester, and here we're going to scroll up to our tile callback. Earlier, we created cases for 19 and 20 so that we wouldn't get random battles in towns or castles. Now, in order for this to work, we're going to need to create a new method so that we can call display message. Let's go ahead and copy the code that we commented out earlier. And here we're going to create a new private method with a return type of void called display message. Here we'll pass in a string called text. And inside of this, we'll paste our new code. Let's select it, and by holding down Command on a Mac or Control on Windows, hit / and uncomment it. Now we can paste the value of text into the message window.text field. Let's copy the method name, and at our first case 19, let's simply display you have entered a town. We can now copy this and paste it below and change town to castle. Now if we save this and test it out in our game, we should be able to see the message depending on whether we enter a town or a castle. As you can see, we just entered a castle. Let's go ahead and generate out a few new islands and see if we can find a town next to where we start. Now let's move into the town, and you'll see we have the message that we've entered it. At this point, we've now cleaned up the battle system to allow the monster to randomly attack first, and to also let the player know when we've entered a town or a castle. This way, we don't automatically trigger a battle in either one of those scenarios.